Chapter 11 is going to get into this thing called mapping, and what it allows us to do is it allows us to take an image and make a section of that image clickable. So we can make rectangles, we can make circles, we can make polygons, we can make all kinds of different shapes on this particular picture and make it so that it is clickable. So the very first thing we see is we've got this image map, and if we go out to studentmidstate.edu and log in, oh, wrong password. Log in. And we go into, we're going to go into MWeb, and here I have the code from the book, and here is chapter 10. Nope, wrong chapter. Chapter 11. And I go into example 1, and here is our map, okay? And if I move around the map, every now and then we'll see that we have a clickable icon. And if I point to it, it will say pirate ship. And over here it says whirlpool. Here it says X mark. Okay. If we look at the page source, we can see that we have a map. Okay, so we have a map tag. We have an ID tag. So the ID tag tells us the name of this map, and then we have a name of the map called treasure map. And then we have what are the area tags, and the area tags coincide with a map tag. So the area has a shape. We're going to tell it we have a rectangle, and we have coordinates. Now those coordinates mean something. Basically what it's saying is we have an X and a Y coordinate. So 186 pixels down from the top, 139 pixels from the left, we have a starting point. Then we're going to tell it the width and the height of that particular shape. So in this case we've got a rectangle. We're going to make it so that when we go to the area, it's going to be clickable. And what's going to happen is it's going to take us to this website called Wiki Xmark, and we're going to have an alt tag called Xmark. That's for when we do sources. And then title says Xmark. That means when we point to that particular area, it displays that on the screen. We also have a circle. The circle does the same thing. We have our X and Y coordinates, and then we basically have a radius, okay? And that one's going to be the whirlpool. And then we have what's called a polygon. Now, a polygon is, this one's kind of weird because what it does is we've got a point here, we've got another point here, we've got another point here, another point here, and another point here. So if we go on those coordinates on the screen, they basically think of it as a dot, connected dots. It puts dots on the pages, and then it automatically draws a line between all those dots. That area is now clickable. And so if we go to that area, it basically will do a pirate ship. Okay? So if I were to, I hate when I do that. So I'm going to zoom in quite a ways. And if I go to this site, notice that if I go just outside of that ship, so what they've tried to do is they've tried to make that polygon kind of the same size as that ship. Okay? Remember the X is a rectangle, so that is a complete square. And if I highlight, anyway, so that is a square, that is a polygon, that is a circle. Okay? So if I click on it, it will take me to that particular website, which is a whirlpool. And if I go to the pirate ship, it takes us to a pirate ship, the Bride. And X, I don't know what X mark is, but there's an X mark. Okay. So different different ways to do that. So that's kind of what we're showing there. So we have this image, use the image treasure map. And then we're going to then add these maps. So So how do we find the X and Y coordinates? Well, I'm going to go ahead and download this map. I'm going to go ahead and say save image as. I'm going to go ahead and save it to my desktop. And I'm going to go into Pixlr. And I'm going to open up that image. Maybe. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to go ahead and get that particular image. And there it is. There's treasure map. And I'm going to basically do this. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to place my pointer right here, right by that shark fin. And you notice over here, I want you to look up here in this XY. And that's going to tell you my beginning area. It's 69x by 132. So it's basically saying I'm 70 pixels in from the left. I'm 132 pixels down from the top. Okay. Now if I do this, if I go ahead and click and drag, it basically would tell me that it has a width of 32 and a height of 28. Okay. So again, right there, we'll say 64 and 139. So I'm going to come back over here and let me just grab the page source. Throw it into Notepad. And I'm going to grab another rectangle. So I want 64 by 139 is fine. So I don't think it is. Let me refresh my memory. I thought it was width and height. So that is open them. Okay. So they place the insertion point there. Make a note of the lower right position. Oh, I see what they're doing. So let me go back over to here. And if I place my pointer here, that is 98 and 165. Okay. So 98 and 165. What are they calling this? They're calling this probably index, okay. Let me try to upload it real quick to see what we can do here. Okay, let's see if we can now do a refresh. If I click here, it takes us to shark, okay? So not too bad. And so again, if I come back over here to the online photo editor and I go here up there, that would be 405, 205. So I'm going to do .405 and 205, and go back over here, and down lower right hand corner is 437.231 and 437 and 231. It's going to go to the same site. I was hoping there'd be a shark wiki, and there was. I'll do a save. I come back over here, and I'm going to highlight that again and overwrite it. Okay. And I do a, so if I come over here, there's no link. I do a refresh, and voila, I now have a link. Again, if I click on it, it takes me to Shark. Okay, so I could actually do island, and I could do octopus, I could do compass, I could do all kinds of different things on there. I could do skull. So that's just a rectangle. So how do we do a circle? So here we have it. So it says, so to we're going to set the shape to circle and add coordinates as a center X, center Y, and then the radius. Okay. So what we're doing is we're putting ourselves right smack dab in the middle of a circle, and then the third number is the radius. We all know what the radius is. That's half the diameter. So think of, if it's 5 pixels, the spot I go to, it's basically going to go 5 pixels and a circle around that. Okay, so that's basically all that's doing. So let's do that to the other shark one. So let's do that as a circle. And I'm going to go back over here to, and I'm going to place myself right smack dab in the center, and that is 417 and 217. So 417 and 217, and so they're doing 51. Wow, that's a, let's try 31, see what that does. Do a refresh, and yeah, that's a pretty big circle. Okay, that's a pretty big circle. So I probably want to make that a little smaller, but again, you kind of get the gist. Now, to do the polygon, again, we have to have 2 pairs of numbers because we're putting a dot, another dot, another dot, another dot, another dot, another dot, all over the page, and then when it's automatically going to fill in those dots with a line. So let me try that with the island. So I go here, and I need to write this down. So I'm going to go here, and that's 397 and 261, and I'm going to go over here, and that is 422 and 274, and I come down here, and that is, let me come down a little bit further, that is 424 and 303. I come here, that is 415 and 323, and here is 406 and 340, 371 and 335. And a little bit farther up. 355 and 307. 379 and 292, and then lastly we'll go right up here to 383 and 263. So now I come over here and I'm going to grab poly and paste it, and we're going to do 397, comma 261, comma 422, comma 274, comma 424, comma 305, comma 415, comma 323, 406, comma 340, 371, comma 335, 335, comma 301, 379, 292, 383, and 263. And we are going to see just try palm and see what happens. We'll say palm tree and palm tree. Let's see if it works. I do a refresh. I come over here and ooh, look at that. So I put all those two coordinates in there, and now when I click on it, it goes to palm. What if we did tree? Not that it's that important, but so okay, so you basically get the gist of what's going on there. We just have to put two pair of coordinates for each dot, and then it automatically connects the lines for us. So that's pretty much the chapter right there. I hate to say that, and that's probably one of the biggest components you'll need for the final project. Now, the last half of the chapter uses this thing called Fireworks. It's Adobe Fireworks. And the great thing about Fireworks is it allows you, it kind of works hand in hand with an HTML editor, and it actually creates that image for you. So again, Fireworks costs money, and we're trying to basically do this with open source. So I just showed you how you could do the same thing as they're doing in. It's a little more manual. It's a little more process oriented that way. But so here they have a map of China, and here they have this GANSU province that they want to basically utilize. So what they're doing is they're doing just exactly what I'm doing. Notice how they put little dots on here. So they use this thing called Fireworks to just click, 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 click. And every time they click, it keeps making a polygon shape until they finally get the whole thing clicked. And then they can go ahead and have it create the polygon shape for us automatically. And what it will look like is this. Again, each pair is a dot on that particular image. You can see that it really is super big. I can't believe they don't have an example for us. But that's what it looks like right there. So that's a lot of dots. Okay. If you add those all, if you counted each one of those items between the commas and divided by 2, it would tell you how many dots there is on that particular page. And there's quite a few dots. Each one of those blue little squares there is a dot that's going to be a coordinate on this particular map. So as far as the final project, you're going to do sort of the same thing. I've given you a map of counties, and I want you to do the same sort of thing on that image for the counties. So if we go to midstate.edu, so down here I actually have this image file. If we click on it, that's what it is, and I want you to do it on Peoria, Tazewell, and Woodford County. So you need to basically come in here and figure out where the dots need to go for each one of those polygons, so that people can click on Tazewell, they can click on Peoria, they can click on Woodford, and then you need to create some type of an image or page for each one of those, whatever basically coordinates with the instructions here. So the final instructions say that you'll build a web page with the map of Central Illinois. You should be able to click on each county. The image file is located, blah, 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 it says right there. Only create a web page for the main page to hold the county, and then a web page for each one of the counties themselves. You have to use a style CSS sheet, also use embedded, also use inline. You're going to do typography. We haven't covered validation yet, but we're going to talk about validation. We're going to talk about being responsive as well, and that's another chapter as well. And I have you go in and change the colors of that GIF file using Pixlr. Now you need to use those 3 separate colors inside there as well. Change another picture to blur the background. We talk about doing that. Create your own image. Make sure that it matches your color scheme. Add a box shadow to your image. Create an image mask. Create a favicon. Use an icon bullets. Use CSS format navigation bar for the top. Again, we haven't been there yet. Use a footer. Use the 2-column fluid layout, and make sure your layout is responsive. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so that is the final project. If we go on in the chapter here, again, Fireworks is nice that you can just click, 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 and it creates that image for you. But as you can see, using Pixlr or even another editor, it's really easy to get those X and Y coordinates and basically utilize it that way. So it's not too bad. Okay, responsive image maps. What we're saying there is that when you resize the screen, it needs to be able to fit the size of the screen itself. If I said make this image a width of 396 pixels, that's all the wider this thing is going to be. It's going to be 396 pixels wide. But if we say the max width is 100%, then it's going to do just that. So if we take a look at our source code here, it says right here the image is a treasure map, blah blah blah. It doesn't have any of that in there. Okay, so what we need to do is must be here. There it is. I'm going to open this guy up with Notepad, and I'm going to add this verbiage right here, max width. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and create, I'm going to use this style. So I'm going to come in here and say style equals So I've got a style of border none, height auto, max width 100%, max, and the width is auto as well. I'm going to save that. I'm going to go ahead and reload it. And now if I come back out to this guy and I resize this web page, what happens? Oh, I got to do a refresh, don't I? So refresh it. There we go. What happens if I resize this? Notice how it shrinks with my screen. Now here's the question. Do the pixels stay? Well, let's see. If I come over here to this palm tree and sure enough, we lose a little bit of the pixels. Yeah, it looks like we're not kind of getting, so it kind of shrunk those areas as well. So that's kind of a pain. But notice that as I shrink this guy, notice that guy, it gets to a certain point where we can't shrink it anymore. But what's nice is this could be a cell phone. This could be a cell phone screen right here. This could be a tablet. And then this is our computer screen. We can also include this thing called include a reference to the jQuery and the HTML. So that an image adjusts to the width of the browser. Set the max width property to 100%. Use an attribute selector to work off the use map attribute. We can have a CSS rule for, so I just did that. We can include a reference to jQuery and HTML. So it says, in modern web development, images need to be adaptive. An image that once was okay as a fixed pixel-based width might be to percentages or M units. To work around this, we use a JavaScript through jQuery to power the changes in the hotspot. So the problem we just ran into is I couldn't find my hotspots anymore. Well, we can use this script called jQuery. Is that my second? Let me see if that's my second example. Yeah, so it's got the jQuery built in. We need to have our I'm going to go ahead and put that. Oh, I'm going to do a right click and select all. And let me put it here. And let me go ahead, let me do this. Where is my image that I had here? Let's see, image. Okay, so let me just re-grab it. Or, I think it's already there. Let me check to see. I think it may already be there, so... If I go here, yeah, it's already got the style sheet in there. Okay, cool. And there's the JS script. Okay, so it's all there. So let me, so it was already done for me. So let me go here. So I'm here, right? And then we've got our images that we can get to. Now when I resize this guy, did we get to keep our, what happened? No, we didn't get to keep it. Wow, that's weird. So the JS script didn't work. Let's try this. Let's try an IE and see what happens. Wow, the JS script, it's not working. It's not working the way it's supposed to. Huh. We can also download a responsive image map jQuery plugin. We can get that same, we can get, or if you need that jQuery, which is not working properly, you can get it here from this GitHub library. So here is the jQuery map min and the other one. So it basically can get it there. And you just basically plug it into, so here you have your jQuery latest min, and then the RW image maps.min, you plug that in as well. And then you have to basically have this code in there, which I believe we do. So we've got this script, image use map, RWD image maps. You put that in there as well. And that then basically runs that script. So what they're trying to show you here is this is that map of China. When we gets resized onto a, this is on a cell phone, that map is now clickable. At least it should be. I don't know why it's not. Let's check it out now. Whoop. Okay, so everything's, so my shark fins are back. So if I resize this, see the X mark, oh that's X mark, wow. That's now the X mark, and our shark fin's probably right about here. Yeah, there's our shark fin. So it didn't work. That's well, that's frustrating. So to activate the plugin, we have to basically run this script. Do we have both of those on there? So we have the RW image. We got the, yeah, we've got both scripts running. Huh. Do we not have? RW image maps, RW image command. Huh. I'm stumped. Well, anyways, that's not a requirement for the final, so that's the good news. So, any questions? What's that? I don't have it out there yet, do I? I will put it out there.